What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 8 of season 1 of Delicious in Dungeon. We'll be going full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've watched this episode. And before we do a real quick recap, like we do in every review, we actually did the review for episode 7. And we've had this happen twice now on the channel, which I'm kind of confused about. We upload the review, it's there, and then I check later, it just doesn't exist. So this happened with episode 19 of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 and episode 7 of Delicious in Dungeon. So without going into a full review of that episode, that was actually me and Chevy's favorite episode. We really liked it, so it's kind of a shame that that review doesn't exist now. But yeah, it was the best episode, in my opinion. I still think that. And we both really liked it, so we'll keep it there. But definitely a shame. And if you're watching and you're wondering where these episodes are at, we filmed them. So I don't know what's up with YouTube. I have another YouTube channel, Tasty Loot Gaming, linked down below for gaming content, and that doesn't happen over there really. Although there's way more episodes over on that channel, but there's some old episodes that I've looked for before that they're not there anymore. So I don't know if that's something that can happen, but these are like fresh. So it's really confusing that they're just going away. This channel also got deleted one time by YouTube without warning. So it might be a cursed channel. I don't know. So let's talk about episode 8 of Delicious in Dungeon. So real quick recap. Episode was basically about Marcel and her... the episode starts off with Laios having the stomach worm that messed him up from the last episode because he ate raw worm or parasite and got a parasite in his stomach that messed him up really bad. While he's recovering, Marcel has a flashback of basically how she met his sister Fallon, however you say that, while they were at magic school, whatever that place was. Fallon was the awkward kid, and through a specific thing with the dirt and the mana during the experiment, Marcel, I keep forgetting her name, basically wanted to know where she got it from. She ends up showing her a dungeon that she gets it from. They kind of hang out in the dungeon, kind of checking out the ecosystem basically in there, and we flash back to what's actually happening, and Laios is waking up. They talk a little bit about how Fallon was liked them both, talked well about both of them. So we got a kind of a shared moment there. And then kind of jump forward. Marcel gets into a situation with a Undine. That's how
what
she
said?
Undine, which is a water thing. She tries to combat it, but she's out in the water when she's fighting it, using her water spell, and she gets hit a couple times to the point where she's bleeding. Everybody's watching. They can't really help her because she's out in the water. And she finally, while low on mana, has to time her shot, otherwise it's going to get wasted, and she's running out of time because she's going to run out of her water walking ability as well. She ends up blowing up the water, throwing herself in the air. Laios catches her, comes up with a big brain plan of let's get the hell out of here. They end up running out of there, and they're trying to figure out how to recuperate her. She's low on mana, so they're trying to figure out how to get that back. And while talking, they remember that they have a liver on them, and so it's grill time. They grill up a bunch of food. they eat a bunch of food in front of her while they're talking about how good it is, and she looks just completely wrecked. And then eventually they start feeding her the liver, and she yells at them wanting more food. So she's definitely in better spirits after her close call. While they're grilling, the smoke of their fire is going up the dungeon, and some people are coming down the stairs, smelling it, and one of them happens to be seemingly an old team member. There was a flashback earlier in the episode too, where it was when they originally split off. So we got a little bit of context before seemingly they're going to reunite. We'll find out. What do we think of the episode?
I think a bit of context that was missing there was that she was low on mana and blood, and the low on blood was the inspiration for cooking the liver.
Yeah.
Because the high on iron aspect of it. But overall, I enjoyed the episode a lot. We got some backstory, not just on Marcel, but also on Fallon, which is nice. And a bit of, like you said, a moment basically between the two because of her and the memories of her. But my biggest takeaway of this episode, outside of just like, that it was a pretty adventure-heavy episode instead of a food-heavy episode, was that the animation was really good this episode.
Yeah.
With some very exaggerated moments, which I love, especially like when they were trying to pull, her in after she blew herself into the air and got caught. Chilchuk's face or whatever was just like crazy looking when he's helping like pull them up.
Yeah, it's weird. Like earlier in the episode, I noticed that in the animation, the lines were darker and more defined, and the animation had gotten better. And I was like, "What's gonna happen?"
Yeah, even like subtle stuff, like when she was sponge bathing, the animation was super fluid. So
Yeah.
it was just like, and in the flashback, like crawling, like playing out in the field and like crawling around and stuff like that. All the animation was super smooth. So, it was a really nice treat. And then just like a fun episode, watching Marcel fight on the water was very well done and was like a lot of fun to watch. So, but that's pretty much all that happened in the episode. So, but yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot to get from the episode, but except for, not to sound like I'm complaining, because I like that we got a flashback that kind of is connecting the dots between Laios and Marcel, being Fallon, being the connecting tissue there, which is interesting because we don't know much about her. We got a little bit of context in a prior episode, like 2 episodes ago. And now we're getting more, which I think is important because she is the objective of the show so far. And so to know anything about her is kind of important. We start the show off with she's dead and nobody's that upset about it. Or they think she is or whatever.
She's being digested at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. So like to get some context at all on her is good. But also it's interesting to find out why Laios and Marcel even know each other. So that is cool. Also, it's cool to find out a little bit about Marcel's past, that she even went to school to, learn the stuff that she knows, and why she's knowledgeable and, very into her book and doing things by the book, basically. Yeah, and then the flashback with the past teammates was very brief, but kind of interesting that they touched on that again. It makes more sense towards the end of the episode, though, because when it originally happened, I'm like, man, this is just a flashback episode, apparently. But, the end of the episode ends with them showing up. So I don't know what that will bring, but if there's any bad blood between them, it'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of dispute or, if they're just kind of say what's up and move on with their lives.
Hopefully it brings a mana potion.
They got to do something. Yeah. When they originally were talking about what their plan is to get her mana back, they're just gonna wait for somebody to walk by, and I'm like, how often do people walk by at this part of the dungeon? That didn't seem to be a concern to them. They were just like, you think they're just gonna do that? Like, we don't got anything to trade. Yeah, the animation was good. The animation's always pretty good in the show. It'll have its moments because it's Trigger, but this whole episode, for some reason, was done really well. It's like they had some downtime to put some more time into the episode, or because it wasn't full of action, they just put the effort into the rest. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. And then the fight with Marcel was also interesting because that was just basically her in survival mode. Nobody could really help her, so I was curious where that was going to go in a show that's mostly lighthearted, even though there's some pretty dark stuff done in lighthearted ways, like whole taverns of people getting murdered off with no one giving a shit. But I mean, they're bad people, I guess, so it doesn't matter. And then that one team of people who keeps getting wrecked over and over again. They just don't have the best of luck. But yeah, this felt like a good contextual episode and an interesting bridge between last episode and what's going to come with this meeting of older teammates likely happening next episode. So I liked it, and I'm looking forward to the next one to see where it goes, because the show's been, even though it's kind of formulaic, surprising. Every episode, I never know what to expect, except for they're going to eat. I know that's going to happen.
I mean, that's pretty much the one guarantee.
Yeah.
So
Every episode's been consistent on like they're going to eat something at some point for some reason, in some kind of creative way or for some kind of creative reason. Other than that, though, the events have always been surprising, which is surprising in itself, because early on in the show, I'm like, what are they going to do? Like, you're just going to keep going to the dungeon eating? Like, and they have been, but somehow kept it interesting. So good on them. Yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, let us know in the comments what did you guys think of episode 8 of Delicious in Dungeon. What were some of the standout parts of the episode? What you like about it? What didn't you like about it? If you didn't like something about it, where do you think everything's going? Unless you know, this is from manga, right? Right? Manga?
I believe so.
Okay. If you do know, please don't tell us. If you want to speculate, though, let's talk about it. And yeah, apologies for the last episode not existing. That sucks for you guys, but also us. So, because we put some time into that. So, but yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully this episode doesn't just disappear. We are also watching Soul Leveling. If you are watching that as well, check out our reviews. And until the next review, we will talk to you guys later.